My name is Daphne Caruana Galizia. I was 53 years old, and this is how I died. This is not only the story of my death, it is the story of my life. I will tell you how I became Malta's most read journalist, and why I refused to stop exposing the powerful, and how the threats against me grew until the state itself could no longer, or would no longer, protect me. You will see what happened after I was gone. The protests that shook my country, the inquiry that proved the state had failed me, and the global fight for truth that carries my name to this day. I was born in Slima in 1964, the eldest of 4 daughters. From a young age, I had a sharp sense of justice. At just 18, I was arrested during a protest against our government. That arrest did not silence me. It shaped me. It made me certain that silence was never an option. I first studied archaeology, but my real weapon was always words. For over 3 decades, I wrote as a journalist, determined to shine light on corruption and organized crime. I married Peter, a lawyer, in 1985, and together we raised 3 sons, Matthew, Andrew, and Paul. They were my anchor through the storms my work brought directly to our doorstep. In March 2008, just before Malta's general election, I began something spontaneous, a blog I called Running Commentary. My first post was titled Zero Tolerance for Corruption. What started as one article quickly became the place where I broke all of my biggest stories. The blog reached as many as 1 million readers, averaging 400,000 a day. For a small island with fewer than 500,000 people, that kind of audience was unstoppable. Running Commentary soon eclipsed every newspaper in Malta. Politicians feared it, criminals despised it, and in their eyes, that made me dangerous to them. For years, I exposed what others fought to keep hidden: offshore companies, money laundering, and stolen public funds. I revealed names in the Panama Papers and pulled secrets into the light that many believed would never be discovered. I wrote relentlessly about corruption in Malta's political and business circles, and by the time of my death, more than 48 libel suits had been filed against me. Each one was meant to drain me and silence me. But intimidation did not stop at lawsuits. I was threatened, arrested, and harassed. My home was targeted multiple times with arson attacks. In one of the worst incidents, tires were stacked against our house and set alight in the night. Luckily, no one was hurt, but the message was clear, and I often said that our home felt under siege. The attacks were constant: dead animals left for us, vandalism, fire, and threats. All of it was a warning that I was not safe, not even in my own home. Then came the cruelest of messages. In 2006, one of our dogs was found at the gate with its throat slit. Later, another of our dogs was poisoned and left for us to discover. These were not accidents. They were calculated acts of terror designed to break me and terrify my family. At 2:35 p.m. on October 16, 2017, I published my last words on Running Commentary. Only minutes later, I got into my car and a bomb planted beneath my seat exploded, ending my life in an instant. My son Matthew was the first to reach the scene, where he was left to discover what remained of me. My last words to the world had been stark: there are crooks everywhere you look now. The situation is desperate. My murder did not silence the truth. Instead, it revealed how rotten the system had become and drew international outrage. Governments, NGOs, and human rights groups demanded answers. In Malta, tens of thousands filled the streets carrying candles, banners, and my picture as they demanded justice. In my investigations, I uncovered a Dubai company called 17 Black, owned by businessman Eugene Fenech. It was created to secretly send money to offshore companies belonging to Prime Minister Joseph Muscat's closest aides, Conrad Mizzi and Keith Schembri. Those companies had already been exposed in the Panama Papers, a massive 2016 leak that showed how the powerful worldwide used offshore structures to hide wealth and avoid scrutiny. By connecting 17 Black directly to Malta's leadership, I exposed corruption at the highest level, and it was one of the reasons why I became a target. The scandal around my death and the revelations forced Joseph Muscat to announce his resignation in December 2019 and to step down the following month. In 2021, an official public inquiry confirmed what I had always known. The Maltese state bore responsibility for creating a culture of impunity where my killers felt untouchable. The government had failed to protect me, despite being fully aware of the threats I faced. The revelations sparked mass protests demanding reform. Yet critics argue that real accountability has remained limited, and much of that culture still lingers today. 8 years after my death, on June 10th, 2025, two of the bomb makers who killed me were finally sentenced to life in prison. My death also ignited something bigger. Journalists around the world came together to continue my work in what became known as the Daphne Project. They carried forward the investigations I began, proving that the truth cannot be buried by violence. My name now lives on through international awards for courageous journalism, a symbol of the risks faced by those who dare to speak the truth to power. Most of all, my murder turned into a rallying cry. Silence one voice, and thousands more will rise to take its place. Today, my story is told not just as a tragedy, but as a warning of what happens when corruption is left unchecked, and as a reminder of the price that truth sometimes demands. And even though my voice was silenced, the fight I carried is far from over. This was my story, and my name is Daphne Caruana Galizia. On this channel, we give voice to the victims who can no longer speak for themselves. If you want to hear more stories told in our own words, please like and subscribe to this channel and share your thoughts in the comments.